Okay, it is, somebody help me out, about 5:36.
Yep.
Calling the May meeting of the Historic District Commission for the City of Flint to order. If we could have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Bernash,
Here.
Commissioner Davis,
Here.
Commissioner Wright, Commissioner Hurley, Commissioner Hurley.
Yeah.
Roll call.
You don't hear me?
No, I didn't
You
hear
were
you, sorry.
muted. Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
good now.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Niswander,
Here.
Commissioner Scapani,
Here.
Okay, next item on the agenda is additions or changes to the agenda. Do we have any additions or changes to the agenda? Hearing none. Is there a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of accepting the agenda, either say yes or raise your hand.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
And all opposed? All right, motion carries. Agenda is adopted, which was the next item on the agenda. After that is disposal of the previous minutes, which would be from February. We did not have a March meeting, so you should have a copy of the February 6th meeting minutes in front of you. And I believe were emailed about a half hour ago. Let's see if anybody could, if y'all could review those and just see if we have any corrections or changes.
I didn't see anything.
Okay. And then is there a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes?
I would motion to approve the previous minutes.
And support?
Or
And we have a motion on the floor with support. Any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. Okay. Next item on the agenda is hearing from the public. So this would be the time where anyone wanted to comment that is not on our agenda. I don't think there's anyone connected to the meeting that could speak right now. But now would be the time where public would speak. Anyone who's not on the agenda. Is there anyone that's connected that's not on the agenda that would like to speak?
No one has joined from the public.
Okay. Okay, so moving on then. First, certificate of appropriateness to discuss. The first applicant is Mr. Robert Sims. The property address is 425 West First Street. Is anyone here to discuss that application?
I'm here. I'm Robert Sims.
Okay. Normally, this is a little different. This will be our first Zoom meeting as a commission. Normally, we would all be in the same room together around a table, and you would kind of stand up or just kind of explain the project, what the plans are, and then just kind of answer any questions after you give a little bit of a narrative. So I didn't know if that's something you'd like to do.
Heather, real quick,
Yeah.
there's 2 applications for Bob.
Yeah.
So are we doing the roof one first or?
The installation of the new roof is the first one on our
Okay.
agenda, so specifically just talking about that,
Yeah,
that
just wanna make
application
sure.
right now.
Do you want me to talk now? I'm the
Sure.
applicant.
That would be great.
Yeah, if you could give us kind of an explanation of, what's in the application, what you're trying to do.
Okay. First of all, the address is 422 West First Avenue. It's the house across the street from 425, which is where I live. So the request is for 422 West First Avenue, and it is for installation of architectural shingles. These are basically the same shingles that are on the Jacob Smith house, which is on the same street a little bit east. And I sent pictures in to Bill. I have them on my computer, but I can't figure out how to get them onto the screen here, and I don't know if you want them here anyway. This is my first Zoom experience.
Okay, so let me see here. I'm looking at, okay, the roofing. So your application says 425 West First Avenue. So the address is actually 422.
That is correct.
Okay, so we'll make that correction on the application.
Well, it says the property address says
Commissioner.
422. I think we're
Yeah.
okay, Heather.
It should be.
Property address
Pardon?
422. Okay, so the applicant, his address, Mr. Sims' address is the 425.
I think so, yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
422 West First
Hmm.
Avenue. So when do you anticipate doing this work?
Right away.
Okay.
So Rob, I guess just to explain, what do you got? I assume you've got to remove all the old stuff. What,
Yes.
anything else? I mean, you changing chimneys, you changing trim boards or soffits or any of that stuff?
My restoration is going to be as authentic as I can make it. There's 3 phases to this. The first is tearing off the old stuff. The second is installing new sheathing, because otherwise I can't put shingles over the old roof boards. They're 2 inches apart.
Okay,
And the third is installing the new roofing. And yes, I'm trying to keep everything as authentic as I can. I actually like the trim that's on there. It's pretty cool. So
okay. So I mean, if there's no other questions, I guess I would make a motion that we approve this application as presented.
I would second it.
Okay, we have a motion with support. Is there any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none. Okay, if we could have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Bernash,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright, Commissioner Hurley,
Yes.
Commissioner Niswander,
Yes.
Commissioner Scapani?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. And normally I would sign the certificate of appropriateness on the spot, but I suppose I'll have to make a trip up to City Hall tomorrow or something to get that done.
I'll have that filled out for you tomorrow morning, Commissioner Bernash.
Okay. Perfect. Moving on, the next item on the agenda, same applicant, Mr. Sims, same property owner, and this time the address. Is this still 422? So it's the same house
Yes,
that we're talking about. Okay. So on our agenda is where it says 425 for both. So I'll just correct it on the agenda. Okay. So you're also here to discuss that project. Where is, I guess I have a question. Where is the Stormer going to be located?
it will be located on the
Is
right
it like on the
side.
side of the
Heather-
house or in the back?
Looking at it
So
from
Heather,
the
on the
street, it'll be on the
application,
right side.
There's
Hopefully,
there's a rendition, the
yes,
second picture down on the application
that's
shows,
it.
I think, what he's intending to do.
Yes, and there should be another photo there of the Aaron Caudell house, which has the same dormer. I just wanted to show that it's appropriate to the neighborhood and to the period. The wall will rise about 4 feet above the existing wall, and it'll be 8 feet wide. And then the rafters will angle back to meet the roof about 2/3 of the way up. The reason I want to add a dormer is I'm adding a formal stairway to the entry, the front entry of the house. And in order to meet building code for headroom, I have to have a higher ceiling. And hence my application for a shed dormer to make room for that stairway. The house has a stairway at the back, near the back door, closed in way.
Okay. Will there be any windows in the dormer or not?
Yes, yes, my plan is for 3 small square windows with the 4 light windows side by side. I did not do a drawing of that. So if you look at the photo of the other house, the Caudell house, it has 2 windows. In that place, mine would have 3 smaller ones side by side.
And so the division, it's not going to be a 1/1. It'll be divided into 4 panes.
Yes, 4 panes and 3 of those side by side.
And the materials, have you picked out the windows yet?
Yes, they're wood, wood windows, not painted or stained. It's natural wood. I'll have to paint.
And then the siding on the dormer, is that going to match the same siding as the house?
Yes, everything will match as close as I can get it, even to the wood trim. Yes, the wood siding, it has the 4-inch clapboard. And yes, everything else, there's not that much different about it. I'm gonna try to make it look like it's been there forever, so that it'll be
Perfect.
rather unnoticeable, really.
So,
So I'm
Um,
thinking we need to, when somebody makes a motion, I'm thinking we're going to need to amend it a little bit because the application doesn't mention windows at all. So if we just approve the application as is, it doesn't allow for windows. So just a suggestion, whoever throws the motion out there would have to say approving the motion with the addition of, the windows.
If I may, We just had someone join the call. It's 8160 ending.
It's Stephanie Wright, Commissioner Wright here, joining the call.
Perfect. Thank you.
Stephanie, we are in the middle of the second application, 422 West First Street, installation of shed dormer.
Yep, and I just heard part of it where he shows it was the 3 pictures attached on the application, but he's requesting to add the window similar to, I guess it's a neighboring house, but he wants to add it to his home. But the window detail was not added into the written verbiage on the application. So I did hear where you said the motion will have to include the detail of adding the wood windows, but she said he's going to paint to kind of keep with the historic details of the neighborhood.
Okay.
Oh, I see where it's at. So I see how that comes together. And I'm wondering, is that touching the other side of the house that is coming in? There's that window. See what I don't know. I'm trying to point to the application, but you can't see me. If you look at the top picture right behind the door, there's a window there. Is it coming straight to that wall?
Yes, it is tight to that wall. The house
Okay.
is in a cross shape, right? And so you're talking about the middle section of the house that runs crossways. And yes, it would be tight to that wall, and then extending 8 feet toward the front, that is toward the front door.
Okay. And then how is that going to affect that roof? You're putting a roof on. Is there anything that's going to have to be adjusted on the other application?
I don't think so. The roof will, when it gets to the valley, it will follow the valley up to the middle section of the house.
All right. I would motion to approve the application with the addition of the windows.
Support.
You guys hear me?
I can't hear you, Heather.
I feel like I'm losing
Oh,
my
there you go.
volume. I don't know why.
Can hear you now,
I
Heather.
can barely hear you guys.
I motion to approve it, Heather, with the addition of the windows, and Kurt second.
It's time for a vote, right?
Yeah.
Do we have discussion?
Yeah. Any discussions?
Because, well, I have
can't
a.
hear you guys.
Oh, no. Should we wait? Well, nobody's talking too much right now.
Heather, have we lost you?
No, Heather's
Guys,
there.
I'm gonna
It's
get
just-
out of the meeting and pop back in and see if that'll reset something because I can't hear anything anybody's saying. I don't know why.
Okay.
Okay. And then Bill will need to do a roll call.
Once Heather comes back into the meeting.
Yeah, and I think Kirk wanted to talk some. I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, once Heather comes, I just have a little bit of discussion on the motion.
Well, I think she has to do the roll call. Is that for the roll call vote, or is it for re-entry of the meeting?
I think it's to know who all is present.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I still can't hear you.
No?
You actually never left. So I'm gonna try this.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Heather.
You're back. I can hear you guys.
Hi,
Perfect.
Heather.
And we hear you
Hi.
too.
Yay.
Gotta love technology.
Yeah.
Okay. So where were we?
You want to do a roll call vote real quick? Roll call, not vote, but roll call real quick.
Okay, do we have a motion and support? Because I didn't hear any of
Hold
that.
on. She wanted to do a roll call about if everybody's on the thing, I think.
A
I
roll
would-
call about what?
No, I was actually talking about a roll call vote based upon the motion.
okay.
I think
Oh,
Councilwoman
okay.
Davis thought I was talking about a roll call for the meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I do.
But
Okay.
it sounds like there's more discussion desired for the motion. I was just giving a reminder to Bill.
And to update Heather, I motioned to approve it with the windows. Kurt seconded it and
Okay.
he's got some discussion.
Okay, so is there any further discussion then?
So, yeah, it's the first time, I mean, I'm relatively new to the HDC board, so the first time an actual, like an addition to a building has come before us, well, before me. So I just was wondering, and especially since it's visible from the street, how contributing structures are treated as we determine, the Secretary of Interior standards on alteration to the building. And then, I guess with that, because I mean, as the homeowner presented, he's trying to make it appear as if that addition was always there, but there's always a sort of range in interpreting the Secretary of Interior standards between should it look like it was always there or should it be something that could be removed depending on the historic significance of the structure, right? So the building itself is not a contributing building, but it's within the historic district boundary. So how in the past have we treated, alterations to buildings? Before I make a vote decision, does that question make sense?
Yeah.
And
I
then,
think it's kind of on a case by case basis, just like you look at it and you see, does this read right? Does this look like it should be on this house, like it should be in this neighborhood? And it's different with every case, just depending on what the materials are that are being used. If they're going to use like materials, I think it blends more easily and looks, like it should be there. But I think it's a case by case analysis.
and do you plan, Mr. Sims, do you plan on painting the entire house at this time too? Once you build the addition, you're gonna have raw wood that, it's gonna need finish.
Yes. I'm planning to paint the whole thing, hopefully before next winter. And I know it looks terrible.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, we just lost.
Our applicant disappeared. I didn't try to scare him away. I promise.
Yeah, good job.
I'm Kurt.
Oh, boy.
My Zoom intimidation skills.
Let's give a few.
Oh boy. Technology.
Bob is doing a full rehab of the house.
Oh, okay.
So I've seen him working out there.
So should the color of paint, is he gonna apply for the paint color? Like, do we need to?
We never have
Doesn't have to do paint color.
approved colors.
Oh, okay.
Right.
It does look like it could be removable, like if the day ever came where it was like,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
needs to be taken back off. I mean, it doesn't look like it really affects, enough of the house, like it could be removed and just re-roofed.
Yeah. I mean, with small residential wood frame construction, it's not as labor intensive as if it was a stone building or something like,
Uh-huh.
something like that. So I'm just curious because it's not very often that HTC a project in at least around town that would be getting a significant, well, I wouldn't say this is a significant alteration, but an alteration that is definitely visible from the street. But
Here's Bob.
he's back. Hope I didn't scare you away.
I know my computer battery just shut down right then. The whole laptop went black. So I'm plugged in again now. So I don't know what all I missed. I was explaining. Now I'm rattled.
Right.
Yes, I'm going to paint the house, the whole thing, hopefully yet this year, and the dormer with it.
Okay.
It's
And
gonna take a
the
heck of a
window.
I think a shed dormer does look appropriate for the style of the house. In general, I mean, if he were to pick, which kind of dormer does he want to use, I think this was probably the best, architectural design for that house type. I'm just excited about the wood windows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With those windows, though, the dormer itself is only 8 feet. So are you going to do like 2 foot by 2 foot to get 3 feet, 3 windows, or, proportionally how?
Yes, approximately.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I have no more questions.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, I think we have a motion and support on the floor. If we could have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Bernash,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Hurley,
Yes.
Commissioner Niswander,
Yes.
Commissioner Scapani,
Yes.
Okay, so looks like motion carries. And same thing, I'll stop up tomorrow and sign the certificate of appropriateness. So you'll have those and you'll be good to go. You don't have to stick around and listen to the rest of our meeting if you don't want to. You're free to go, or you can stay and listen.
I think I'll leave the meeting after one question. Now, how do I get these certificates? Where do I find them?
I'll sign them tomorrow, so Bill will have them. I don't know, Bill, do you want to mail them to him or call him and have him come pick them up, or?
what I'll do is, Commissioner and Bob, I'll email those to you, both of those, and I'll take them to the building department, deliver those to the building department so they have copies also.
Okay, wonderful.
Tomorrow.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You.
Good luck.
Okay, moving on. Our final applicant is John Mason. This is Flint City Hard Cider. The address is 610 Martin Luther King. Installation of a handicap ramp. And
So I don't see John Mason on this call.
he's not, he messaged me about a half hour ago and said he's busy at work and couldn't get away and wouldn't be able to participate. So I asked him if he wanted us to adjourn this application to next month, and he said no, that we have everything we need and to go ahead and vote. This application is for a handicap ramp on a commercial building. It's already done.
Yeah,
The work,
it sure is.
the work is already done. The ramp is on the building. So this is just another one of those situations. So
And-
he included a bunch of pictures.
For the record, some of the permit renovations were done by our office.
Okay.
And we did show some ornament. I don't, and this is, I actually personally didn't work on the project, but I know it was from, well, our office is on the application there, but so yeah, there was some drawings done for a ramp. And I guess as far as I can gather from the office, that the we never applied as the architect for the client, and I think a lot of it has to do with how, you know, the sort of drawn out nature of how he was renovating the project. So I was actually surprised myself when I saw the agenda and application for a ramp, and you know, I'm on the I'm on the HDC, and I
So
don't.
I'm wondering if you need to abstain, then do we not have quorum to, how many people do we need to approve? 4? So are we good if it goes that way?
I hope so.
I'm wondering if
We have 5. What do we have? 5 in attendance?
we have
You
5
have
in
5.
attendance, so we'll have
No, you
4
have
voting. 6?
I think you have 6 in attendance now.
Yeah.
For now.
Okay,
So,
okay,
So I'll recuse myself for the sake of this, not swaying the opinions.
okay. And I know the applicant did explain to me, I think he didn't realize he was in a historic district because it's part of the Carriagetown Historic District, I believe, but it's like on the other side of MLK. It's not in the sort of residential block of Carriagetown.
Georgetown goes to Saginaw.
Right.
So this is across the street from Sagi, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
And is the ramp on the parking, is that the parking lot that I'm
Yes.
seeing?
yes.
Okay, so it's on the, maybe the south side of the
The
building?
south side of the
Yep.
building. And he did indicate also that he used materials, the railing was already there somewhere else on the building, is what he explained to me. And so they just reused the same rail and relocated it. And that it was required by code, they had to have it. And I think he cites, is it Carriagetown Ministries, the ramp that we approved for them as a similar type project.
I mean, I think you did a good job on it. I drove by there the other day and looked at it. And I wish they would have came to us first, but I mean, I think it looks fine and he has to have it. And so I think you did a good job adhering to the historic neighborhood.
Without even knowing he needed to.
Right.
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 People are confused. The borders of Carriagetown is very confusing, and it's even gotten more confusing in the last few years with the change from McDonald to Grand Traverse. So, but people don't realize that it goes all the way to Saginaw, Saginaw to Grand Traverse. but I would motion to approve it.
Okay, is there support for that?
I'll support.
Okay, and any further discussion? Hearing
Commissioner-
none,
Commissioner Bernash, this is Bill Vandercook. Could I ask who supported that, please?
Davis,
Thank you very much, Commissioner Davis.
you're welcome.
okay. So we have a motion and support, and hearing no further discussion, can we have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Bernash,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Hurley,
Yes.
Commissioner Niswander.
Should I say abstain?
Yep. Commissioner Scapani,
Yes.
Okay, so motion carries. And same thing, I'll be in tomorrow to sign that application and we can get it to John. Great. And then that should be it for certificates of appropriateness. The AT&T tower was taken off our agenda. So moving on to old business, Capitol Theater signage. Anything going on with that?
Can't hear you, Kelly.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. So I believe I updated the commission at the last meeting regarding Mike Ryder, the building inspector, reaching out to Joe Martin. And I'm not exactly clear what his position at Uptown is, but he's someone in administration for Uptown. And explained to him the situation, that we had sent a few letters, and Mr. Martin indicated to Mike that he hadn't seen any letters. So Mike Ryder hand delivered a signed letter that the commissioners have reviewed. It's the same letter. He hand delivered that to Uptown and was met by a female, and I believe she's one of the tenants who we've also sent letters to.
She's the
don't
one that
have her-
signed.
Yeah.
She's the one
Yeah.
that signed all the CO, yeah. The return.
Right, so that's who Mike hand delivered the letter to. So I can't say for sure that it was given to Mr. Martin or anyone else. It seems like that may have been the issue in getting to someone in administration to begin with. But
She didn't give
Mike-
the last
Mike-
two letters to him, so.
Right. So Mike is prepared to issue citations, and he thinks that they would have to go directly to Uptown as the owners, or the landlords for the properties. But there are some ordinance provisions that say, depending on the nature of the violation, citations could be issued to the landlord and the tenant, both. So I think once City Hall reopens and the stay-at-home orders expire, then that's something to consider, and the commission is open to discuss that and direct that those citations be issued.
Okay. Sounds good. So they've been mailed the letter and they've been hand delivered the letter, so I think they're on notice at
And-
this point.
Right, and my impression is that when the tenants received the letters, they probably went to Uptown administration, and I don't know how much control this woman has over Uptown, but that would be my assessment based on us not having received any applications, that they took the letter to Uptown and said, what do we do with this? And someone at Uptown told them they didn't need to worry about it. So I think just as a show of good faith to the tenants, Mike can go and try and meet with the individual tenants and tell them verbally and show them another copy of the letter with an application in hand, that it is required despite what Uptown is telling them, rather than just going and giving them a violation. But that's just my opinion. The commission has discretion and authority to issue a citation without that extra step.
Sure. Okay.
So at this
Okay.
point, I don't even think that there's a vote required to move forward with that. It's just that there's a consensus amongst the commissioners that we want to do that. If and when, then just let me know and I'll tell Mike to move forward.
I mean, that might work. I mean, because that kind of puts the tenants on notice that the issue's not going away. You know, we're not going to just forget about it. Like, it needs to be fixed.
Right.
If there was a visit, and I think, I mean, Bedrock might, you know, fill out the application, but I don't think Eberson is going to, because that's the one where the lady is the tenant and the Uptown employee. So she's the one that is saying they don't have to do anything. So,
right.
Bedrock might, you know, fix it, but I wouldn't hold my breath on Eberson.
And it says in the letter specifically that regardless of what Uptown tells you, this is what you have to do. So I don't understand what the holdup is still, because the letter is very clear. So I really am at a loss as to why we haven't received any applications.
And there's no financial cost to applying. So
Right. Well, there's never been
Exactly.
any consequence for anybody violating historic district ordinance before. There's never been fines or any kind of consequence. So
the initial violation would be a $150 fine in addition to whatever court costs that the court imposes. But each day is deemed a violation, another violation. So after that first one, in practice, typically we wait until after the first court appearance to issue a second or third or any subsequent violations. But under the ordinance, each day is a separate violation. So those $150 fines will stack.
And I think if that happens, you'll get their attention.
Hope so.
Hopefully. So that's all I have as to that agenda item.
okay. So do you guys all think that's a good idea to have Mike visit the two tenants in person? Say, hey, you guys want to fill out this application and get on the agenda, get this fixed? Kind of give the tenants an opportunity to cure it before we.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I do too.
do we, I think Kelly said that we should probably wait till all the, my dogs. Sorry about that. I don't know if you can hear my dogs.
Yeah.
Given that, we're on the sort of stay-at-home orders, should we, out of courtesy, I guess, wait until that's all over, right? And then.
And I think logistically that makes sense because Mike, I know he is working, but I'm sure his schedule is pretty tied up with essential services. So I think logistically it would make sense until the stay-at-home orders expire.
Right. And with those stores, I mean, technically those stores are closed, so it's going to be hard to even track, the tenants down. We've been patient for a long time. We can wait a little longer. Not going anywhere. Okay. So next item on the agenda is Saginaw Street bricks.
So as far as I know, there haven't been any changes. We're still waiting to get the downtown re-improvement plan that would include potentially some some bigger changes to the Saginaw Street bricks. So Bill, I believe that you've been included in some of this discussion, but Mark Adis, the city engineer, he's on notice that the commission wants to hear from him as soon as that plan is finalized.
Well, and we're looking for an explanation about what's going on with the red bricks that they removed and put the red cement in down by the bridge and
where the,
I mean,
the bricks are, right?
Right, where the bricks are. And I mean, because we're just hearing all kinds of rumors that everybody knows the bricks need to be fixed. There's probably a big project coming where they're going to remove everything and redo it and, you know, try to make things more walkable and the intersections more safe and slow traffic and everything. I mean, we know a big project is coming, but I think we should be involved in that discussion before it happens and leading up to it, not be an afterthought and be, you know, have them coming to us after the fact, if at all, because it seems like that's what's happened with the, I mean, there's 2 patch jobs now that we have been begging somebody to come and explain to us, and we've gotten nowhere, and it's been about 5 or 6 years. So I guess I would just like the director of some department, whether it's DPW or streets or something, I don't know, somebody to come and include us in the planning and the process. Because I've heard that when this project happens, I mean, there's rumors that it's going to be a different surface. It'll be new bricks or different bricks, not the original bricks that will be put back. And that's not acceptable to me. I don't know about the rest of the commissioners, but
not to me.
That's a discussion that, you know, I think we need to have with them, you know, without them just making plans without us being involved.
Well, I'll reach out to Betty Weidman, Mark Adis, and Rob Binzik again and reiterate the commission's concerns and that you want to be included as the planning is ongoing.
Because I mean, basically they want to rebuild an entire historic district. I mean, we should be involved in that discussion, I think.
We should. Can I just chime in for a minute? This is Heather. Did you ever talk to Greg at the Arts Council?
I haven't yet.
Okay, if you can reach out to him, because he's very concerned about the bricks with them having the Back to the Bricks event. And a company worker came in and told him that they're going to be tearing up those bricks down Saginaw Street, and they're going to be doing something else. So I don't know the name of the company he talked to, but he does. And that's why he wants to talk to you in regards to that, because he's very concerned about those bricks, because he says without the bricks, there's no Back to the Bricks.
Right. And I have talked to Mayor Neely, and he indicates that the original bricks will be put back. He guaranteed they wouldn't be replaced. But I mean, right now we're speculating and guessing. Nobody knows, you know, we don't know what the plan is until they come to us and, you know, the people with authority come and talk to us. So I'm hoping that will happen.
Okay.
But I will give Greg a call this week and find out who that was and what he's hearing.
Yeah, he's very concerned.
Okay. Let's see. Next item on the agenda is demolition blight.
So this, and I think that it kind of ties in with the next item, the updates to the ordinance and more generally the district resource list. The ordinance is outdated as far as the historic district resources go. And in our last meeting, we had a pretty hearty discussion about making some updates to the ordinance and the resource list. And I think the demolition blight policy, and Commissioner Niswander, you brought that up at the last meeting, just regarding the HGC being included on, or being notified if one of the historic district resources is added to the demolition list. And just opening some lines of communication that may have been clogged up in the past. So Bill and I have had some general discussions about that, but haven't, since we've been on shutdown, we haven't been able to really get at many of those issues. So that's still on my to-do list, and I have my notes from the last meeting with all the suggestions that were made. So that's something that that we plan on doing once we're back at City Hall.
Okay. I have a couple general questions about just the procedure. The blight officers, they are they deputized? Do they work for the police department?
There are a number of neighborhood safety officers who are, they're deputized through the police department. They work for the police department, but their, I don't want to say jurisdiction, they're mostly limited to blight enforcement and like cars parked on the grass and things like that. So I think when it comes to the Historic District Commission's concerns, that's more the arena of the building inspector, who's Mike Ryder. So blight enforcement, that's mostly neighborhood safety officers through the police department.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would just add to that, they're actually paid, it's under code enforcement. They're actually paid by a code enforcement grant through CDBG, and then another grant through Ruth Mott Foundation. So their activities are actually limited by their funding source.
Okay. Has ticketing increased recently?
I actually don't know the answer to that. I think, unfortunately, one of the NSOs, I don't know if you heard this, but one of the NSOs passed from COVID-19. So they are down a couple NSOs as well. And I think that there were some deployments, but some additional deployments. So I don't know exactly what the connection is. And actually, blight is administered through a different office, not planning and development. And so while we fund it, it's actually administered differently. So I don't know what the Administrative Hearings Bureau, reports and tickets are. I would say that maybe the ticketing may be either static or up a little bit, but the actual enforcement through the Administrative Hearings Bureau is probably down because they're not doing in-person enforcement. And so they're still working on, and I think they're going to do some, as Kelly probably knows more about this than I do, but I understand they're going to be doing some Zoom hearings. So I'm not exactly if they haven't already started, I'm not exactly sure how that will work out, but it definitely, the COVID-19 pandemic has definitely had an impact on, a lot of the work that they were doing, and certainly the enforcement piece through the Administrative Hearings Bureau.
Certainly.
Yeah, I can't speak to the circumstances since the pandemic, but I can tell you that I saw a lot more tickets for parking and things that came through 67th District Court as opposed to the Administrative Hearings Bureau. So I saw quite an increase prior to the pandemic. And I don't know if their staffing has reduced or changed at all, but I would expect that to continue once the government opens back up.
Okay. All right, anything further on demolition and blight? Next item on the agenda is the Historic District Ordinance.
Right, that I would just reiterate what I explained about when we were talking about demolitions, the blight policy, updating the resources list. That I think that's the primary purpose for that being on the agenda, just updating our list of resources. And we actually, with the AT&T application, Bill was able to cross-reference a few different databases or lists in his system to determine that that wasn't a historic district resource, that particular building. So when we return to work, then we'll be able to cross-reference those lists and try and get down to the specific list of resources currently and update the ordinance to reflect that.
Good. Okay, I think we do need to, I mean, get that updated and create books. When I came on, I got a binder that was given to me from a commissioner that had been on before me. So this binder is probably 20 years old. And I mean, some districts have been tore down, you know, IMA is still on there, Manning Court. So, and it's my binder indicates the original boundaries of Carriage Town, not the new shrunken boundaries. So yeah, it really does need to be sort of corrected, and then maybe we can all get accurate binders.
And that's another thing that Bill and I discussed was printing out new binders, updating the packets you have for the Secretary of Interior standards, and the resource list as well. And I would just throw it out to the commissioners. I joined as the staff attorney for Historic District, I want to say two and a half years ago. And I know that some changes were made just prior to my coming onto the commission. So if you're aware of specific changes, then that would be helpful for us to know as we're updating the list.
Okay, definitely. Yeah, we can work with Bill on that too. Okay, legal description boundaries. I guess this is all kind of.
Yeah, it's all tied in, yeah, together.
Okay. Other provisions to update. Okay. So it looks like we've discussed everything that's on the agenda. Does anybody have anything else? All right. Hearing nothing, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support?
Support.
Motion and support. Everyone in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none. Meeting is adjourned, 6:34.
All right. See you guys next time.
All right. Have a great
All
day.
right. Thank you,
All right.
guys.
Thank you.